right. Now, first things first, as I said, giving an example of digital money or money, mobile money, we're talking about matters like KCB M-Pesa or M-Shwari.
Yes.
But humbly explain to us how the mobile lending works or the digital lending. What exactly is digital lending, to your understanding?
That's a good question, Nina. You know, most Kenyans understand mobile lending, that is M-Shwari, KCB M-Pesa. Basically, it's called mobile lending because they are usually based on a SIM card. Like when you go to Safaricom and you go to M-Pesa, you're able to access M-Shwari and you're able to access KCB M-Pesa. But you see the problem with that has limitations. Before, you could only be able to access such loans either from M-Shwari or KCB M-Pesa using the Safaricom SIM card. But you see now, as you said, through advancement, they had to emerge other players who could not be based on SIM cards. And that's where digital lending came in. That is lenders that are not based on SIM cards, meaning they are based on apps that are freely available on Google Play, where people can be able to download, register, and access loans using smartphones. That is what digital lending means.
All right. You've found a loophole where you've come in. You're not forcing lenders to use their SIM cards.
Yes.
So how exactly does your digital lending work?
See, for instance, for Ocular, our products are based on an app, on an Android app for now. We are working on the iPhone app, but for now it's Android. So our customers are able to go to Google Play, they're able to search our app, Ocular, they're able to register. After registering, the system will appraise them, give them a limit, and they're able to borrow as much as the limit which the system has assigned them. And they receive their money instantly through M-Pesa, wherever they may be in this country. Yes.
All right. So how long does the appraisal take?
So the appraisal is instant. When you register, within a second, you should have a limit. And if you borrow again within another 1 second, you should have your money on M-Pesa.
So what does the appraisal entail?
So that's the golden question, Nina. Everybody wants to know how that happens. Each company has its own unique way of appraisal. But basically, all we are trying to figure out is, do you have the capability to service that loan? Are you willing to service that loan? Because the problem with Kenyans is a lot of them are capable to servicing loans, but most of them are unwilling. So we are trying to figure out whether you are both capable. They don't. So that's the two things we look at: capability and willingness. But for us, willingness is actually more important than capability. Yes.
Okay, let's give our viewers a proper example.
Exactly.
Say I download the app.
Yes.
And I want instant 10,000 shillings.
Yes.
What process do I have to go through?
So the first thing that you need to do is, as I said, just go to Google Play, just search Ocular, you'll find Ocular, install the app on your phone, register your details on the registration page, be appraised by the system, then you can only borrow what the system assigns. So remember, the system assigns you a limit based on the evaluation, based on your willingness and your capability to repay. So we can offer you 10,000 INA if the system finds out that we don't have the capability or the willingness to pay the 10,000.
Okay, that's what I want to know. How will the system find out? I really need this 10,000 shillings. So
Yes.
I'm asking because it's important for viewers,
Yes.
of course. So how will the system find out if I'm able to repay that 10,000 shillings? And if I borrow 10,000 shillings, how much am I set to pay back?
All right. So the first thing that I have to say is we look at two important data points, but we also look at other data points. But let me talk about the two most important data points. The first data point is the M-Pesa history. When you register in our app will ask you permission to access your M-Pesa messages. Remember, we have to ask for the permission. If you do not give us the permission, we cannot access your M-Pesa, which means we are not going to be able to appraise you properly. So once we access your M-Pesa history, our system is able to go through those M-Pesa histories, looking at both, again, the capability and the willingness. After we check your M-Pesa history, we then look at your CRB records. We check again, are you negatively listed? Are you positively listed? How are you servicing loans from other institutions? What is your capability based on, again, both the M-Pesa and your CRB
So
records?
M-Pesa stands in as a bank statement.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, say, because you're out to assist those who have been listed on the CRB.
Yes.
So say I have been listed on the CRB.
Yes.
How does Ocular come in to help me?
Okay.
You have seen I've been listed by the CRV. You, of course, you don't shy away, because
Yes.
this is the reason why I'm coming to Ocular.
Yes.
So how exactly are you offering me help? What benefits do I get from Ocular?
All right. The first thing that we have to clarify is we do not deny loans to people because they are being listed negatively in CRB. That's, as you say, is where you are coming to be.
Yes.
For us, why we are looking at the CRB is to check at what point were you listed in the CRB.
All right.
Because what we have come to learn is most people default because they are being given loans which they cannot be able to service. For instance, Nina, if you earn 20,000 salary, assuming you earn 20,000 salary, and a lender gives you 30,000 loan, by default, and then they want you to pay within 1 month. You are not able to pay that. So our access to CRB is to check at which level did you fail. Was it an issue of being given a loan beyond your capacity? So we will offer you a loan which we know you can be able to service based on that information. So that's why we check the CRB listing to check what amount of money we can comfortably give you so that you don't default by lack of capabilities. But it's not to deny Kenyans a loan.
All right.
Yeah.
So for starters, what's the most you can give? What's the most you can lend out to someone?
So most of our loans begin at between minimum 100 and maximum 5,000 as a first-time loan. Yes, our maximum limit is 70,000 currently, and I need to say that is because these are functionality of the limitations of the M-Pesa system, which currently you can only disburse 70,000 maximum. Once those limitations have been lifted, we are looking at alternatives by using, for instance, banks as a medium of disbursing loans so that we're able to offer Kenyans bigger loans than the 70,000 limit, which we are currently giving to several Kenyans already out there.
All right, so we have, they offer as little as 100 shillings, and the most they offer is 70,000 shillings. Of course, that's because that's the most M-Pesa can handle in one go. But a question to you, Mr. Peter, what makes Ocular International different from all the other institutions that may be offering the same services?
All right. So I think I have to take you to the philosophy to which we formed this company.
All right.
Remember, when we formed this company, the problem we found is that most people could not access loans. They couldn't access loans because either they didn't have any form of history or they were negatively listed in the CRB. So a lot of people were registering in different apps. A lot of people were going to these SIM-based companies, but they were being denied loans. So we asked ourselves, why can't we form a company where we guarantee everybody, and even the motto of our division, Ocular Loans, is everybody gets a loan. That's why we formed this company, to offer everybody a loan. So that is the first thing that differentiates us from everybody, is that any person who comes to Ocular follows due process, is guaranteed of getting a loan, whether they are listed, whether they have data or not. That's the first thing. The second thing is look at our interest rate, Nina. Currently, what is in the market out there, especially in the digital lending, forget the SIM-based lending, the digital lending, the lowest rate that you find out there is 14%. Some are even doing it at 40%. But the minimum you get is 14%. We have decided, why do we need to punish people, especially those people who borrow for one day or 1 week? So we have reduced our interest rate to as low as 5%. So
that's a very big margin. That's
exactly
a 9% difference.
Exactly. So say a trader who needs to borrow money in the morning, trade with it and return it in the evening, that person will only pay us 5%. Well, if they go to our competitor, for instance, then they can only get the same one-day facility at 14%. That we think is actually huge.
All right.
Differentiator, yes.
Okay, and so how, this might be probably a bit personal, but
Yes.
How long has Ocular been in the business world, and how would you say business is going for you?
All right. So we started Ocular in end of 2016, December 2016. We launched our app in early 2017, the beginning of last year. So our app has only been live for just barely over a year now. We have currently over 100,000 registered customers within that 1 year time frame. That shows that people are recognizing our offerings, the things that make us different. Business is not bad. We are dealing with similar issues to everybody in the industry, like default rates, difficult collection systems, because our customers are in every part of this country. But beyond that, we feel that this market is big, the opportunity is massive. The Kenyan people are fantastic borrowers, apart from the few here and there who do not want to service their loans. And we are looking to build our company this year to up to 500,000 customers by end of this year, 2 million by next year.
And how do you plan to deal with the ones who are not willing to service the loans?
Yes. So we deal with them in a few ways. The first, of course, mechanism we have is to list them with the CRB, hoping, of course, that A, they can service our loan, and B, so that they don't go somewhere else and be able to do the same to another company. It's very important. You need to be a brother's keepers. So there also we are working with partners like Essential Credit, that part people who are helping us collect some of our more difficult loans. Even our internal staff, we are training them a lot so that they are not just following these debts aggressively, Nina, but they are also customer friendly so that they do not alienate the people who feed us.
Yes,
yeah, so
that's very true.
Those are a few things that we are doing to.
All right. According to your reports, you have a 92% repayment.
Yes.
What would you say is the future of the digital lending from
fantastic.
that? Yes.
So for me, what I can say is, and I've said this before, that what we have currently, what Ocular has been doing, what all the other people are doing in the industry, the big players, the small players, we have a lazy system.
Okay.
We have a very lazy system. I call it a lazy system because everybody...
I'm not even in the sector, but I've got a feeling. Lazy is such a harsh word.
It is. It needs to be harsh because it's true. What we have currently, Nina, is a system that is company-focused. It doesn't care about the welfare of the consumer. For instance, assuming you earn 100,000 or 200,000, if you go to any lending company right now as a start, they'll probably give you 1,000 as a first limit. And by the time you hit 20,000, it could be even 2 years. So you see, the system that exists does not take into consideration your ability to service bigger loans. It does not take into consideration why do you need the money now. If you have a child, Nina, and then you have an emergency, maybe it's the middle of the month, you have finished your salary, your child falls sick, maybe you have run out of insurance. You go to Aga Khan and they tell you they need a 40,000 deposit. You go to your apps and you find that they're offering you 2,000, 3,000. And there is no mechanism for you to appeal for a higher limit at that particular point. Those apps, those SIM-based companies do not consider your ability and your need for loan at that particular point. That's why it's a lazy system. The future of digital lending is a limitless system. A system that does not concern itself with today you have 5,000 limit, we can only give you 5,000. Instead, it's a system that asks, why do you need the money as of this particular point? It looks at so many data points at that point and asks itself, can we give this lady this 40,000 she needs to treat her child? And it finds that, yes, based on this active data, we can indeed lend this lady the 40,000 and we avail you that 40,000 right there so that you're able to pay for your hospital. That is the future of digital lending.
All right.
Yes.
And hand in hand with that, maybe you can give us an example of the type of customers, of course, if you've done a research. Who are the different type of customers that you tend to work with?
All right. We have, at Ocular, our model is also a bit different. In as much as we focus so much on the digital lending, we have decided to have a huge outreach to the Juakali people, to the small traders. We have branches, 3 branches so far, whose work is only to reach out to the traders and the Juakali people who may not be very conversant with smartphones. We even actually offer loans to people who don't have smartphones. They come to our branches. We offer them the loans digitally, but using our own equipment at our offices. But beyond that, on the digital side, most of the people we deal with are young people. These are people in their 20s and 30s. A huge number of them are employed.
Looking for money to party.
Looking for money to party, yes.
Yeah,
looking for money for fare. Since they have finished their salaries before the month. Looking for money for food, for basic utilities in the house as they wait for their salaries at the end of the month. And that's why we decided to reach out to the other traders who are actually looking for money to grow their business and who are not very aware of digital apps and who may not even have smartphones because they were not being served by anybody else. So we came in to fill that gap, and we have people going out there talking to all these people and assisting them get loans from Ocular. Bigger loans that perhaps we offer to the other faceless people who we serve, because we are concerned about growing those businesses.
All right. Now, Peter, from where you sit, would you say that digital lending or mobile lending is a threat to the banks and the banking system that we have currently? Or do you work together? It's
not a threat per se. Let's just say it's an opportunity which some of them have failed to take. You find that banks like CBA controls close to 60% of the digital and mobile lending market because they were the guys who started doing this. Then you have others like KCB who are huge. easy loans, who are huge. So the other banks, what they have done is that they have failed to move with speed to enter the that particular segment. So digital lenders like ourselves only came to seal those particular gaps which were left by banks. So what I see, and this will happen, Nina, is that even those other banks will start rushing to get into this space. They could be able to be successful in it because they already have large clientele who they can convert in this space. But what I know is that they are going to be left behind by those guys who came in early, who are innovating, who are learning, and who are willing to change and disrupt them.
All right, because the only constant thing in life is a change. This is something that I keep on telling my colleague Zainab Ismail in the office. Zainab, the only constant thing in life is change. Anyway, any last words?
So perhaps what I can be able to say is both government and both the players in the digital lending and the mobile lending needs to come together. There are certain challenges we are all facing together which can only be solved together. I'll give you a quick example, the issue of CRB. The CRB is no longer effective. When you tell people you're going to do this, they don't care. They tell you go ahead. So we need to give more truth to the different institutions that are supposed to make people honor their debt obligation. And as I said, we need to work together to change this lazy system into one that is more customer focused.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Peter, for comprehensively explaining to us what digital lending is all